Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I have been thinking about Discovery and how it ended, and I've watched a lot of videos and reviews from other people, and I'm kind of surprised at how many people were disappointed and not impressed by it, because often a lot of the fans are all praising it and that. You know, I mean, really, it's just so disappointing that we had this show that had, every episode was a different story, a different alien, a different strange new world, and then we got Discovery, which was just one story for a whole season, which usually wasn't interesting enough to fill 10 or 13 episodes. And it was just a chapter of the same story. So it was, unless you're engaged or interested in that one story, that's all you got. It was more about the interpersonal relationships of the characters, which is the absolute opposite of what Star Trek was. Something they sort of started to do with Next Generation, but they kept a balance, at least with Next Gen, between the character stories and the drama and the science fiction stories. But by the time, Discovery just threw all that out, and it's really bizarre to see interviews with some of the cast members and they're bragging about it. They're like, oh yes, we brought in, this long form storytelling, telling one story in chapters and, really focusing on the characters and like just totally abandoning Star Trek's format and what it was. And they're proud of it. And just the amount of, oh, we love each other, we love each other, we love each other. I'm like, I'm looking at how all the characters, all the cast are totally secondary to Sonequa Martin Green and how much they kiss up to her. And she's now a producer, by the way. She was a producer last season. So they can't tell her what they think. They can't actually say anything out of place because they'll get fired because she's a producer. So they can't say anything about where's my character? Do I have any lines this week? Do I get to do anything? Do I get to get off the ship? It's all about her. And even the last episode, the rest of the cast was there in the background at Saru's wedding while she had the scene with him. And I don't think any of them even got to speak. I can't remember any of them doing anything or speaking. It was really insulting. I thought the whole idea of bringing the cast back and coming back for reshoots was to give them all a nice send-off and a goodbye. And they really didn't get that at all. It was all about her. Now, the last scene being all about her, piloting the ship out to leave it where it's found in Calypso, that was fine, but the rest of it really should have been about the Discovery family and the whole crew and everything, and it really wasn't. So that was disappointing. And also the fact that, like I said, instead of getting multiple stories every, a different one each, episode, multiple ones per season, we just get one. And this one, they couldn't even think of an original story. They just rewrote part of a Next Generation story. They just went after the same thing. They just chased the same MacGuffin that they had in the Next Generation episode, The Chase, and then they just, instead of writing a new story, they just rewrote and changed a Next Generation story and undermined it and made it like, oh, we're a bunch of fakes. We just found this. We were just given this technology. We didn't create it. We don't know anything. We don't have any answers. There's nothing. They didn't add anything to it. They just took away from it. So they just ruined another story. Instead of creating their own story for the season, for the whole season, they couldn't even get one story. It was just this one reworking of a Next Generation story, and they just ruined it. It took a while to absorb just how bad the ending of the show was. I was really expecting something decent. I thought there'd be some revelation, something new they would add to the progenitors and that story, something that made them important because they did something more than Picard and that. Instead, they just took away from it and reduced it. And I'm just an idiot, I guess, because I'm always optimistic about the show and thinking they'll do something better than they do and keep giving it chance after chance after chance, and it constantly disappoints and just underwhelms. And I guess that was the great accumulation of all of that. Let's just steal a story from Next Generation, undermine it, rewrite it, just make it less than what it was, and then be proud of it. It's just bizarre. So yeah, the last episode was strangely disappointing. I mean, the only good thing was they did sort of set up the Calypso thing, because that was annoying, but they could have just ignored that, like they've ignored their own canon so many times and just said it was like an alternative universe story, because it was a short trek. They could have just said, oh, that was just an alternative universe where that's what happened. And now they set it up like a little mystery, like we don't know what happened, how it's happening. Some people are suggesting, oh, they're trying to set up another show or another story or a movie or something. Like, no, I think they just wanted something in the ending that there was something. That was the only thing we got. Just that little sort of mystery of, oh, they're resolving that. What does that mean? Where, how, why? That's the only thing we got. Just that little extra one last mystery box that's going to go nowhere. So yeah, just had to say a little bit more about the show, because I was really tired when I did my review. Like that was like the third time. I was like, my eyes were closing. I was so tired. And I didn't have the energy to do a story about the season as a whole, the show as a whole, or what I just sort of did a basic little review, and I had to say a bit more, especially after I sort of saw a lot of people, because I thought I don't want to be negative and do like a bitchy video, about it. But then I saw everyone else talking. I'm like, no, it's not just me. It's not just me. I'm just going to join the chorus of people who are disappointed and not surprised. But I was a little surprised I didn't do better. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Discovery and the final.